And we are live on YouTube. What's up, YouTube fans and family? We're on Zoom. We're gonna be live on Apple and Spotify. What's up, you guys? This is your favorite billion dollar, your favorite entrepreneur, billion dollar Candace. I'm back at you with another episode. I got something great for you guys, and hopefully this episode be better than the last one. I know we're going through this together. Um, this time I got my microphone for my desktop. Last week I tried my desktop. That was my first time going live on Apple and Spotify from my desktop. I normally just use my phone and use my mic on my phone. So, you know, we getting better, gooder and gooder and gooder, if that's a word. Um we got a few people hopped on Zoom. I just want to say hello, Zoom out there. Hello. I got so many, man. I'm so sorry, you guys. I got so much happening right now. I got uh stream y'all popping off on one screen. I got Zoom on one screen, and then I got all my Apple family and all my Spotify family. So y'all bear with me, man. So I have a lot going on. I have a special guest out here. But just to follow up, we had a guest last week was with the Debt Destroyer. So we started off this podcast just to give my guest a little rundown on what's happening. So it's funny because all right, so this here's the rundown. So I talked about started a podcast with my previous guest I had on my show, the Debt Destroyer. And before he mentioned it, I really didn't want to do it, honestly. I was like, I felt like I wasn't, I don't know, I just didn't, it just didn't, it wasn't relatable for me. But we talked about it. He wanted to do it. We came up with some great ideas. I was like, all right, so we gonna do it. And I told him, I was like, yo, this how it be with me. Like I write stuff down. And when I write stuff down, I kid you not, it it always manifests itself. Like it's crazy because like I said, I really didn't want to do the podcast. I know a few people actually out there doing podcasts and big ups to you guys. So I was like, all right, so let me figure this stuff out. I'm gonna figure it out, see what it's about. I one day on my Facebook page, the seven figure podcasters is Eric Thomas. So people that work with him, they was doing a webinar. So let me just see, I said, let me fill it out, see, I don't know, just one of those things. I was bored and wanted something to do, see if that catch my eye. I went on it. They gave me some tips. I was like, all right, I'm gonna follow these tips. And showed up, like it was late at night. It got late at night, so I went to bed. I woke up the next morning, looked at my phone, kid you not. I got an iPhone, for all y'all that don't know. It had audio up there. I was like, well, let me see if this going to work. So if you go back to my first episode, you'll hear my first audio. It's funny as crap, but I was testing it out. And from there, this is how this began. So last week, I actually had my first guest, Maurice the Debt Destroyer. He came on, gave us his story, how resilient he is. Today, I got another special guest. His name is Jeff, and he is a credit specialist. And Jeff, would you be so kindly to let my audience give them some history, give us a background about you?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, Candace. I first of all, I definitely appreciate the invite. You know, and man, it's not easy to do what you're doing, right? But it's necessary, absolutely, and it's definitely something that will definitely take off, right? As you keep pushing, it will definitely spread its wings out. But definitely, so just a little bit about me. I do operate within the credit education field. My main focus really to make sure people understand and this concept of credit, because there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of good information. There's also a lot of information that's not really so positive, or just really to say just to kind of put it lightly, or to say the least, it's really confusing out there, right? A lot, because it's a lot of information, so it's really confusing. So one of the biggest things that I do is I try to make sure that I can bring credit education to my audience, to my family, friends, my community, right? So that's really what it is about me. But in terms of how it all started, just a little background to that. I was somebody that messed up my credit. I didn't understand what credit was, right? Like most people, I messed up my credit before I knew what credit was. So it got to the point where I was able to get connected with a few other people, learn how to improve my own credit, fix what was needed to be fixed, and all of that. So that's just really what it was for me, and it just became a passion that, hey, there got to be other people out there that need to understand how this works too. So that's really how it came about, and that's what I do.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So I actually didn't really do a grand job at introducing you, so I'm gonna go back. Thank you for
You good, you good.
that.
Yeah.
So Joe, so Joe, honestly, like it's crazy because Joe actually, me and him did a series together last year as well. Jeff was also my partner when we did the 30-day financial 360 financial challenge. Okay. So we took 30 days and we broke down financial literacy in 30 days, which we all know is really take more than 30 days to really perfect financial literacy. So Jeff, I mean, I thought I knew about credit. Let me tell you, I got books. I got notes. I don't fix my credit. But let me tell you, like Jeff, this guy, he is special when it comes to like understanding credit, and he dissect credit like no other. Like he is a man of God. He's a husband. He's a father. He's a hard worker, and he's an influencer, y'all. He's an influencer. So don't let Jeff fool you, y'all. Like he's bigger than what he just like really said, for real, for real. So you said you messed up your credit. Like
Oh
how
man,
did you mess up your credit? What was it? What was that factor that messed up your credit?
it was a lot of things. It was a lot of things, but the first part that I remember was this. I took a loan out from a bank, from a credit union, some years back. They loaned me $500, right? Because I went in there tried to see if I get a loan. I forgot who told me to try it out, but I tried it out, and they told me, "Well, we want to loan you something, but you're new to credit. You don't have any credit." Again, at that time, I didn't understand what all that meant. But they say you don't have any credit, but we will give you $500. So I took out a personal loan, $500, and folks, I never paid it back for whatever reason, right? I don't know what I was thinking. I was working, so I had the money to pay back, right? I was supposed to make monthly payments, but and there's a whole array of things that we can probably hop into in this session, maybe another time. But I realized this, that most people with credit issues, it's usually two things: one, lack of cash flow, or lack of simple information. But even within the lack of information, it's really, you don't really track anything, right? Because at that time, if I had been tracking my financials, I would have noted that, oh, I got to pay these people back monthly. But I wasn't doing all that. So that's really how it started, right? And I just ignored it, forgot about it. Years later, it came back to me like, hey, you still owe us, amongst other things.
Mm-hmm.
Other things, right? So I don't know how you really want to be on here talking about all the different things that happen, but everything from a car being repoed, where I refused to pay it back because what was the reason? Man, it's funny because I've come across people that would tell me something like, oh, I'm not paying this card no back. I'm not paying this credit card back because of this and that reason. It's like, I hear you, but yo, you don't want that. Right? You
Right.
got to figure out a way to handle that. Right. So for me, And I'll tell you this little car story because it's very funny. I went to Car Hop. I don't know if y'all remember Car way back in the day when the car hop. And I seen the commercials where they tell you get
Do
you the car
not
for
use car
$99 down, right? So I was like, that's dope. Let's do it. I ain't got much money. Let's do it. So I went in. Tell me why. Whatever amount that car costed, I ended up leaving that place. The car probably would have only worth like $2,000 to $3,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
This was a Chevy 2001 Chevy Cavalier. Tell me why I end up having to pay overall 7,000 and change, like overall, right? What I was gonna have to pay overall. But the real issue that happened was about a year later, the car brakes went out. Right, so the car brakes went out, and I went to I reached out to the warranty people, whoever it was. They said, "Hey, the warranty covered everything else but the brake system." The thing that I need is what y'all say it don't cover. All right, and it happened to be wintertime, so the apartment where I was living at, they was towing, or they was plowing the snow. I forgot to let my manager know, the apartment manager know that that's my car. So, and I worked overnight shift, late shift, came back home, fell asleep. By the time there was removing everything, they told my car, and they told me like, "Oh, we told it." I'm like, "Well, dang, the brakes don't work anyway." I'm like, "The brakes don't work. I'm not even gonna pay for it." I'm just like, "Screw it, whatever. I don't care." Right? That was my mindset. That was a big mistake too, because again, those little steps, right? But it's not one main thing. It's a series of things, which really boil down to lack of financial education, lack of credit education, which falls into financial education, just lack of tracking things.
Right,
so
absolutely.
It's a few number of things.
Now, when you went to Car Hop, do not use Car Hop, if they still around. But anyways, when you went to Car Hop, so what price did they have on the sticker? Was it 2,000 or what was the sticker price? Do you remember the sticker price?
I wasn't paying attention to nothing. I was a young dude. I need a car that day.
Gotcha. I mean, and you know what?
So
that a lot of young kids, like such as college students, 18-year-olds, 19, 20, somewhere in there, a lot of them don't know. They think it's free money. Like when someone say, "Look, I'm gonna give you some credit. You got $500." Like so many young people around that age don't realize they have to pay it back. They don't look at the interest rate. They don't, like you said, it's lack of financial literacy. Like, do you think that should be placed in school? And if it should be placed in school, like what would be a good like grade or age range that it should be taught? And if not, why you feel like it shouldn't be taught in school?
Yeah, no, I do think it should be taught in schools, because you're right. A lot of people, young people, literally miss out on such information, right? So it should be taught in schools. In the age group, I'm thinking early. So there are certain basic information that can be taught early, just like in kindergarten, you learn how to count, right? Preschool, all that, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, you learn how to count, and then it progresses, right? So each grade level, the different subjects progress.
Right.
It should be the same way, right? Because the basics of credit falls down to the factors of credit, which one of the biggest one is simply making your payments and making them on time, right? So which means I got to be able to understand, hey, how much money am I bringing in the course of a month, the course of a week, 2 weeks, whatever, and then how much am I spending out in the course of the couple of weeks or a month, right? Being able to track all that. So if such information is taught early on, like second grade, third grade, hey, you have this amount of money. These are your income and expenses. What does that look like? How much can you buy with this money? What all can you buy with this money? What all would you have left? All these little games that throughout the course of the years, right? Folks, they'll begin to add on it and progress on it. So if you're talking about credit itself, probably, from late junior high, maybe high school range, folks should be learning about credit itself, right? But prior to that, folks should be learning little pieces of it.
I agree.
You feel me? Yeah. So I definitely believe it should be taught. In schools. Now, I forget your other question that you had asked. There's something else you got to ask to on top of that.
No, I was like, I just asked you if it should be taught. Like what age should it be taught, and if you feel like it shouldn't be taught, why shouldn't, like, why you think it shouldn't be taught? So you basically answer it. So it's either or.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool.
And then actually too, if you don't mind me adding this, I believe it shouldn't just be taught in schools; it should be taught at homes.
That part. Booyah.
Yeah.
I need some sound effects.
You gotta have them. It's not just schools; it's gotta be homes, because it's not everything you're gonna learn at school. So whatever you're gonna learn at school, you gotta be able to learn it at home.
Absolutely.
And so so it's definitely, yeah. I mean, let's just say that it should be taught in schools. And even if it's not taught in schools, homes should definitely be the place.
Absolutely.
Right.
So do you feel like it should be like a family game or a family time or a family meeting? Like, what, when you say it should be taught at home, like, set it up for somebody to visual, like how do you see it? Like, what does it look like?
Yeah. So I'm trying to picture it now, right? But think about it this way. As a parent, I've got two little kids, right? The oldest is 3, going to be 4 this year. Youngest is 1, going to be 2. Right? At this age, they don't understand the concept of money. Right. So at this age, we start trying to instill in them some levels of responsibility. Hey, try to clean your room. Hey, if you're playing with your toys and you finish with them, try and put them in a designated area. Right. Things like that. So as you starting along, we'll be already reading with them, right? So all these little things. So you could have a book on, like a children's book on money, and you just start reading about credit. Just start reading, right, to them. As time goes, probably by the time they're maybe 9, 10 years old, where things really begin to make more sense to them, that's when you definitely, I want to believe, if as a parent, if you don't really want to share all your financials with your kids, right, early on, at some point you should be able to start helping them to understand how money flows about. That, hey, I work, right? Your parents work, money comes in. Because going back, I knew my parents were working, but I didn't know what money was in the sense of how they were making the money, how much they were making, how much the income was, how much the expenses of the house was, right? So if you think about it, situations where you ask your parents back in the day, or your kids asking you now, like, hey, mom, hey, dad, can you buy me this? Can you buy me that? And the kids got to hear the words, or used to hear the words, no, we can't afford it right now. Like, what does that mean?
Right. What does it look
What
like?
you mean you can afford it? You work, exactly. You make money, right? So it doesn't resonate, doesn't make sense that you work, but you can't afford it, right? Can't afford rent. We can't afford this. We can't afford that, right? So those sort of things, those are the type of conversations we got to be able to try to have with them to help them understand things. And I think what that does is it even challenges you, the parent, if your financials are not in the best situation, challenges you to now try to figure out, how can I get in a better situation? Because I got to represent the family to the kids. I got to share with the kids what's going on.
Absolutely.
Help them understand. So now in the sense of games, like we're talking about, it could be anywhere from, you can literally use your real life situation, change some information about that, and play that role.
Love it.
Like, hey, if this family makes this much and spends this much, how much money do they have left over? Can this family afford to go on family trips? Can this family afford some of the best cars, some of the best clothes, some of the best food, some of the best neighborhoods to live in? Can this family afford, like, right? So little things like that. And in terms of games, there got to be some games out there.
Yeah. It is, but it's some games out there, but who knows with this technology, digital world, what's in the horizon, But I love that, and I actually did that with my oldest. I yet to do it with my 2 youngest, with my middle kid, and then my youngest. But my plans is to most definitely, and my youngest is 10. They understand money. He understand money. 10-year-old, 8 years. They, matter of fact, they had a financial day at school, at his school,
Okay.
and they learned some concept. They went through what they call, I can't even exactly remember the name of, but where they went on a junior, they call like junior,
Junior achievers
something like that,
or
where they went.
achievements, junior achievements or junior
Yeah.
achievers, something
Yep,
like
yep,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I know what
so
you're talking
it was dope. I thought it was dope. They learned about like jobs, work,
about. Mm-hmm.
working a job, but they had the opportunity to, have a business too. So it was, I think it was a good entry for them, just to
Right.
plant a seed that was planted. But yeah, I think you should most definitely have a budget and let your kids look over it. Start, I say 8 years old, personally, you know. Um,
Makes sense.
yeah, so can you share with us one of your favorite success stories, or an impactful moment that you had in your career?
Yeah, I mean, well, so I'll put it this way. We'll probably talk about it from a credit perspective. It's always like I always feel. Let's put it this: I always feel great when I connect with people and I'm sharing information that I think is not really much. Like I'm thinking like this is just basic stuff, or it
Mm-hmm.
should be basic stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but I find out that it's really impactful to somebody, right?
Okay.
It really it does two things for me. Now I'm not putting anybody down to be like, oh, this basic information, you should know this by now. That's not what I'm saying, right? Just more of because sometimes we tend to downplay ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I don't have good enough information to share with nobody, right?
Right.
Like the
Right.
information I have, it's nothing. It's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's everywhere, but sadly, not enough people literally have the correct information, right? So just
Mm-hmm.
recently, I was connecting with somebody that I thought they should know certain things,
Mm-hmm.
and as I'm sharing a few information with them, they looking at me like, "Yo, that's solid stuff. I didn't know that." And I'm thinking, okay, that was an eye kind of eye opening for me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I got to put out more information out there.
Wow. That
Like
part. Yeah.
absolutely got to because you just be shocked and you'd be surprised. Because again, this information is not really it's at our fingertips, so to speak, but it's not really presented to us, right? We usually got to go search for it. And when
Mm-hmm.
we're searching for it, the question becomes, is this the correct information or is it wrong information?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So
That's always in the
um
back of most people's mind. Is it correct? I think.
mm-hmm, definitely. So for me, it's never really one moment per se, but it's just any time when I can share information with somebody when the person can say, "Yo, this is dope. I didn't know this. I'm going to implement it right now." Right, and then they're able to implement, and I see changes. It really speaks volume to me that it lets me know I'm on the right path. Right, so yeah,
Okay.
I'll call those moments success moments for sure.
Awesome. 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 So I'm gonna go back a little bit. You
Hmm.
say there's factors.
Yeah,
Like what is the factors? What I mean, what is that
yeah, yeah,
credit?
absolutely.
I think
So,
credit factors you was mentioning.
mhm.
Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, yes, I can. So when it comes down to credit, um, I think that a lot of people understand that they got to make their payments on time. They understand that if I don't make my payments, it's going to affect my credit. So you get people that will say, okay, hey, I pay all my bills on time. I don't know why my score's not going up. I don't have any kind of errors or not even errors. I don't have any collections or none of that. Like I don't know what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
right? So with everything, you got to understand the information about it, right? With every subject, every course, whatever, every product, you got to
Mm-hmm.
understand how that product, how that subject is made up, right? So when it
Mm-hmm.
comes, same thing with a topic of credit and the product, let's call it that, the product of credit. You got to understand what makes up a credit score, right? You
Mm-hmm.
got to understand that. So a lot of people associate credit with just credit cards, right? But there's much more to that. So there are factors to how credit scores are calculated. right? So these factors will be there are five main factors, right? And this will be your payment history, which most people know about, credit utilization, which a lot of people know about too, hard increase, or what they call new credit, right? That's another one, and I think a lot of people have heard that term too. There's also credit age, right? And then there's credit mix, right? So basically, your credit score is generated from your credit report, from the information on your credit report, right? So which brings in a whole nother term, which is credit report. Now, so the folks don't just come up with your credit score anyhow. It's all based upon if you have a credit score, that information is based upon your credit report, which is basically a information that tells lenders about your past and current habits with money, right? That's really the information that it says, because now, if let's say I made all my payments on time. Now I'll say this too. Let's say I make all my other payments on time. So let's say I pay my rent on time. I pay my electric bill. I pay all these whatever. The thing is that those information are usually not put on your credit report.
Right.
But now if I got a credit card, I got an auto loan that's on my credit report, and I miss one or two payments, it tells the lenders and any other future lender, I may have a problem with paying things back or paying them back on time if I've missed a few or if I missed a lot, right? So that's what I'm talking about, that it really tells the lender, the next person, how you handle money, how you handle these type of situations. It's all about money, really, if you think about it. All these accounts is all about money. If it's whether it's a car note, whether it's a personal loan, it's a loan. Even a credit card is technically a loan, right?
Right.
So all these things have to do with money. So how do you manage that money? How do you deal with it? Are you paying it back? How many times do you apply for these type of loans, right? All these different factors. So it really boils down to understanding those five factors. That's it. When you master and understand those five factors, if everything else is good, meaning you got good cash flow and you are able to track your financials, you understand how these things work, you will be in a great shape always. Always. Because the only other reason will be either somebody steals your identity, right? Or you just lack the information or cash flow. If you have cash flow and you have the information, you understand these five factors. I'm going to repeat the factors again. Payment history, which literally is 35%. If you're talking about FICO scoring, I don't want to get into all of that because that's going to break into a whole nother set of questions that you're going to ask me. So let's I'll just keep it simple and just say that your payment history, right? That's the biggest factor that you look at. That they look at is your payment history. If I borrow money from you, Candace, right, and I tell you, hey, Candace, let me borrow $200 from you. I'm gonna pay you back. Let's say $10 a month over the next, or let's say $20 a month over the next 10 months. Right?
Yeah.
And you agree. You're like, okay, cool. All right, Jeff, here's $200. I expect $20 next month. If let's say I pay 2-3 months, but then I stop paying, we just might have an issue. If you're calling me and you can't get a hold of me, we're gonna have issues.
Yeah, we're
right?
gonna have
So
issues.
now let's
Big
say
issues.
now I'm reaching out I'm trying to borrow money again from somebody else that you know. And that person asks you like, hey, Jeff borrowed money from you last time. How was that situation like? You're like, nah, you don't trust that dude.
Right. I sure will.
Right? Or he might pay you back, but he's gonna take his time. He's not gonna pay you back the time he said he will. Right? So that's essentially what's happening with your credit report. Everybody else that you've done business with, every creditor, every lender you borrowed from, they put that information on the credit report that tells everybody else, hey, how this person behaves when it comes down to lending, right? So out of that information, they generate your credit scores, which is simply a 3-digit number that's assigned to that just puts you on a scale to let you know within this scale where you fall in.
Yeah.
Right. So how likely you are to pay back what you borrowed. That's really it.
Right. So that made me think like about the bartering system.
Mm-hmm.
Back when before they had a credit or before the gold standard came around. So that's what that made me think about. But we coming getting close. But so okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I would just go straight. I had some more questions for you, but you know what, Jeff, we're just going to come back another time. And if y'all have any more questions for Jeff, y'all gonna have to inbox me or let me know. Because Jeff can go into it. Like I said, he can slice and dice it. So I'm just gonna ask you. Okay, so let's see. I'm looking for the bonus questions. So okay, so I got 3 questions, maybe 3 questions. You get to choose which one or all of them you want to answer. Okay. So the first question is, if you could have a conversation with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be and why? That's one of the questions. And then another question would be, what do you think about AI and do you use it? And then the third question is, should married couples have separate accounts?
Cool. I'm gonna answer all three, and we'll answer them real quick. And I'm actually going to answer the second one first, the third one, then the first one last.
Okay.
All right. So the second one, you said what I think about AI and do I use it?
Yeah.
I think AI is great. I do use it. I've been actually improving on it. So I've been using Chat GPT, and I've been using it so I'm kind of growing with it. Right. I'm mainly using it in terms of brainstorming. So if I have an idea and I'll write the idea on there, and I'll try to get it to help me, basically to cut down the time that I would normally use to create stuff.
Okay.
Right. So that's how I've been using it so far. And I know there are a lot of other AI stuff out there. I'm still getting into that, still learning more about that. Mm-hmm. So AI definitely is here to stay, and it is great.
That part.
Right. Definitely. And then the third question, do I believe that married couples should have separate accounts? Was that a question?
Yes.
Separate accounts?
Yep.
Sure. Why not? Now, here's what I believe too, though, to that. It does depend on your upbringing, number one. Also depends on your family values, whatever values y'all have chosen to stick by. Right. There are the values that say a man should handle everything financially. Right. And there are values that say, hey, in this economy we live in, you can't have one person cannot handle everything. You gotta have both income. So whatever your situation is, hopefully it works for y'all. That's all I'm gonna say that way. Whatever works for y'all. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Now, I within my own household, we have several, or we got different accounts. We've got joint accounts and we've got separate accounts because we came into the marriage with separate accounts. Right. We didn't close nothing. So what we did was I actually had 2 accounts. She had one. We turned one of my 2 accounts into a joint account. Right. And then she kept hers. I kept my other one. Right. So, and we still have access to all the accounts. Right. That's the thing. We got access to all the accounts. Okay. Right. So, that's how it works for us. Right. Now, I'm going to answer the first question now. I'm going to answer it this way. If I could talk to anybody dead or alive, who would it be and why? I will talk to my younger self. Me, my younger self.
Okay.
I say that because, I would, we should talk to somebody else that's passed and gone, and information we can get from them. But there's a lot of information out here already. And with all that information that I now know, my younger self would have been the person to speak with. And more specifically, probably my younger self, probably from, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out the age to go back to, right? There are different levels of ages I would have gone back to. But at the very least, my young self from probably even 18, 19 time frame.
Okay.
Right? Just because, and the only reason why is because I could tell that younger self, like, yo, this world is not whatever you're thinking it is. Right? definitely tell that younger self to start early. Start a lot of things early. Don't wait. Don't think of yourself as less than, right? Take advantage of things. If you got to go to school or whatever, because my whole schooling situation was a little different, right? I started trying to go to college. I dropped out within a few weeks because a few different reasons, right? But I would have, because I didn't understand what to do at that time actually. So it wasn't until years later that I end up, getting some different degrees and certificates and different things like that. But I would have started earlier, gotten a certificate of some sort at least, try to make it more than just a minimum wage at that time, right? To try to give myself a head start, right? And also figure out just trying to learn information, just give myself to learning versus trying to hang out.
Fair
right?
enough.
Because
Right.
all that hangout didn't really do much for me
Did
at
nothing.
those early ages. So it's just some little information, right?
Fair
That I
enough.
would have gone back to my younger self to tell. But that's the only person I really want to talk to is my younger
Dang,
self.
that's powerful. That I never would have imagined that answer, but that's powerful. But yeah, I think that's Maurice in the chat. He said he agree with you. But yeah, just think about it. Just imagine we can go back and talk to a younger self, like how things would be different. That's crazy. But I know we're about to wrap up. And so one last thing. So how can my listeners, connect with you and learn more about your work? Like give us your handles, your Facebook, Instagram, TikTok,
Yeah,
etc.
absolutely.
etc. Whatever else you have, email address, whatever you want to drop, whatever. Just let them know how they can get in touch with you if they want more information.
Absolutely. So first of all, please connect with Candace and she will get you connected with me. But outside of that, I'm on Facebook as Jeffrey Paul Asamoah. That is Jeffrey, Paul Paul Asamoah, Asamoah. So you can get connect with me on Facebook there. If you want to connect with me via email, you can hit me at hello@thriveedge.com or thriveedgesolutions.com rather. So that's hello, HELLO at sign and ThriveEdge, ThriveEdgeSolutions.com. Right. So that's one other way you can get a hold of me. And then we'll probably go from there because I'm on a few places. But one of the biggest things I'm working on literally right now with the help of Chat GPT, it's an educational platform because I've got the information in my head, right? So I'm utilizing the AI to help bring the stuff out and really be able to have a platform where I can share my information, the information that I know. Ain't gonna be free, of course, but it's not going to be expensive neither. I want to make sure people can afford. Information is out there. Like I said, it's everywhere. But the very fact that I got to take the time out to create it for my, create it the way I want it to be, I got to charge some for it. But y'all be on the lookout for that because I do believe it is going to help a lot of people. But for now, man, if you missed anything else, please connect with Candace and she can get you connected with me on all the social media handles because I'm not on TikTok like I should. I just watch stuff on there. I'm not really on there.
The word on the street is they gonna shut that down in January. That's word on the street, but but
did hear something about that. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, hey,
we'll see. So
maybe
that's
I
Jeff.
am too
That's
somewhere.
that part. That's Jeff. Look, if y'all need any more information, y'all want to get connected with Jeff, hit me up. I will put his details in the description below under on YouTube. And just if you want his information, go to YouTube. All right, YouTube. I'm signing off. We'll see you at the beach on the banks, Jeff. You tell everybody.
All right. Thank you.
And I'm gonna stop the recording on